We're in page Samaches. So we are in the middle of discussing the difference between Pesach and the other special days, Shabbos and Shavuos and Sukkot. So describe the Shabbos is last a Shabbos as a result of Avodas Ha'adam. Pesach, Shavuos is a result of the Avodah Sfiras Ha'imel. And Sukkot is a result of the Avodah of Rosh Hashanah in Kippur. He says any time the Amshachim L'Mayla as a result of the Avodah Sa'adam, we must it's limited according to the Avodah. But a few interesting dogmas. One of them is Talmid Amachim Esrah, but the Vim effect as I emphasized. Everything depends on the question. We're in the middle of the page. Shom Asras Maya De Hashem. Right in the middle of the page. Aval B'Pesach. So all this is the way it is in Shabbos, and Sukkot, and Shavuos. Aval B'Pesach. Oh, Yitzias Mitzrayim B'Poel Mamish. The Eberste took us out of Mitzrayim. Milmayla, let's have a saying about Gol HaKadosh Baruch Hu Lafayson Gol Limor. While Zana Eimer Metzion and Me'avdas L'Cheres Me'afer Lo Yagad. So all these things happened Milmayla, like you said, Agad. But Duma Kazoi Say Gam Kamatan Torah. Similar to that, it was also Matan Torah. Mashekeraftonu Lahar Sinai. Keraftonu Lahar Sinai. It's an interesting expression. Belashon Dayin Il Kervono Lifnei Har Sinai. This is Keraftonu. I'm not sure. Not sure the tough. Okay. The Pascha Zohamasam says in Chazal, Pascha the Zomas Ba. Bonoch Chava v'Itil Bazoma, Matantera Pascha Zohamasam. So the Eibishter removed the Zoma, the Shmutz. V'chein Ubana B'chata, Tzad HaGuf, K'mei Shkoza B'Sefer Shel Beinanim. We say in davening in Avas Eilam, in the Bichas Krishma, Ubana B'chata V'cham B'Loshen, says the Alter Rebbe in Shulchan Aruch, Ubana B'chata means Matan Torah. And in Tanya, the Alter Rebbe explains a famous Tanya that the B'chira is really Tzad HaGuf. The Neshama does not need for B'chira. The Chidush of the B'chira Tzad HaGuf. The Guf HaGashmi is also Nifchas. All this happened in Matan Torah. So in a Milamayla. Chem Pchinas Shem Havai Shenasa B'Gadach HaYisrael. They deal with the Panim B'Fanim. Brings another concept of Chassidus that says Chassidus Panim B'Fanim Dibra Havai Mochem B'Matan Torah. So Chassidus explains that Shem Havaya became part. What is the solution here? Nasa b'kol echad yisrael. Every Yid has reflects Shem Havaya. Ubesukkos. Ari Adam yesha b'schach hasukah ad chafam Adam yedor b'sukkah b'tzer sukkah p'nasila d'menusa. So the Chayra. Okay, so just takes a step back in the parentheses. We find that Shavuos and Sukkot, we also find the Indian, the Gilim Ilmaila. But the more the Ikar Indian of the Gilim Ilmaila that transforms the Id Ilmaila, that happened Pesach. Pesach is the time when every Yid leaves the state of slavery to the Yetzer Hara, the state of freedom. Yeshleima Sha'achana Lazeh Sha'achana Lazeh Hu Inyam Bio Chametz Pe'el Mamish. Yeah, it's interesting. This Achanal is there also doesn't fit what he's saying. All along he's saying Pesach is a mile. There is a Achanal. We're going to deal with it later. Achanal is the in Bio Hamed Pel Mamish. The Achanal to the Gila of Pesach is the Avodah of each Eid, everybody. Kolach Misol Misatzak Mishtadam Ma'od Livdek B'Chayrin Mitzdakim Levaras Achometz. Everybody tries very hard and invests themselves and is busy to check the chametz. Every nook. V'chein b'mitzvahs b'matzes mitzvah b'riba dikdukim. Because b'matzes mitzvah we put in a lot of dikdukim. Ma'od shei b'tachlis ha'echsha b'tachlis ha'idu b'rochak ma'od me'ezach shah shchim etzrat v'shalom. Kol zeh. All this, what brings the Eid to this very extreme investment in Bil Chometz and the Matzah Mitzvah? That's a result of Yiras Shamayim. Shiur Moed Benafshe Shel Yira B'Imtza Eizu Masha Chometz Shtiyaratza Ketekuna. It's that Chona Benefesh. They say Tzil Pel Mamish Ma'abes V'Choshech HaKlipas Rachman Otzan Acheres Al. So really, in this parentheses, he took us out of the Maimah. And the Maimah is talking about how Pesach is different than the older. All the others are Milmata Lamayt, and Pesach is Milmata Lamayt. But in this parentheses, it turns the whole thing on its head. It shows how in Matan Torah, which is Shavuos and Sukkot, there's also Gilim Milmayla. It shows in Pesach also as Achana. So I had to fit this in the whole narrative of the Maimon. That's a different issue. But we have to just keep that in mind to the side. Of going back to the original Chidush of our Maimon, why is Pesach different than Pesach and Shavuos and Sukkot? Chag Pesach moved them is the Bekolamid. Shagil so Barbia ad Neshamas Salamato day of Pesach. Gil of himself in the elements Atzilas Vitzirasi. At the Neshamas Salamat ain't about the last man of Allah. The Shah. It's not a result of Allah's man of the Avodah Milmat, the bill, like the rest of the Yom Tov. When Nimshah from his Gil, some said Atzmak Yachofet Chesedu. It's not a result of the social sat of the last man. So that's why we don't find that before Pesach there's a special avodah. So this is the key point he's making in our Maimon. The difference between Pesach and the other Yom Tovim, that Pesach is everything is milmayim social element of that. So going back to the way he started the discussion, Pesach is called Pesach Shem Diluk, which means a leap, jump, skip. Ksiva Pesach Havayala Pesach. The Eibishter skipped the Pesach, the entry to the Jewish homes. The Ikar in Yonai, what is the meaning? A deal of Shalai Ba'adroga. That is a deal, a leap, a jump, not gradual. Ki Eira Ba'adei Allah is Shabbat Ba'adroga. The type of Eira Sof, godly Eira, which we receive through Allah, to our Avodah, Shabbat Ba'adroga. That comes gradual. The receiver, the recipient, through his sense, through his refinement, he becomes a proper vessel for the flow of godly energy from above. The male is gradual, it's according to the level of his refinement. which is drawn not as a result of our law. So that's shaloi badoga. That's not gradual. That is the meaning of diluk. That it's a leap. It's not a slow process that's based on the makab. What is the reason that we have such a gil in Pesach? Because we receive the ashpa, the flow from above us, from that madrig and the course, which is above makabli, above the makal makabli, above being a source to the makabli. It's in that madrig where Atzilus and Asiyah are equal. It's not. He doesn't look at Asiyah as a step below Atzilus. It's all what. Everything's equal. The pasuk says in Tehillim, Gam Cheshach Le'ashmek. It's a level of darkness doesn't affect it. Meile al kein body the diluk shalei b'seder v'adog. Okay, so we finished saying we finished stage one in this describing the mile of Pesach of all the other Tovim and Shabbos. That's why Pesach is called diluk. Pesach Lashon diluk. Now he's getting more into it, describe it more in an elaborate way. The statement we made before needs more, it's not really understood well. But we find in other sources that every Yom Tov, the flow from the Likus that we get in this world, the Shalom is Shalom Mishtashlis. That's the difference in Yom Tov and Shabbos and the rest of the day. The rest of the other days, the Meisachel, that's very Shalom Mishtashlis. Shabbos, Yom Tov, we get a flow from above. Hashem Zenika Yom Tov, and as it says also, the reason it's called Yom Tov, the word Tov in Yom Tov, Hashem Kinasa Erki Tov. That's what it says in Pasuk in the first Brias Yom Echad. So the Tov of the Erki Tov, that is the Tov of Yom Tov. And what is that? The Gasha says, "Oh, Shein Olam Oilish Tamash, but Gonzel Tzadikim Osilov." It's Eragonus, which means Oishalam Mishtashos. Ein Olam Oilish Tamash. So we see that Yom Tov is also a time of Gilish and Mishtashos. Because the Mashma Bezoya Pasha Sema of Tzadikim Hamadal. That concept we just said, that the Tov of Yom Tov is related to the Eragonus, is really Mashma. We can derive it from the Zoya. What does it say there? In Zoya, over there in Pashas Emor, of course, it discusses the Eragonus, like I said, the Gonzel Tzadikim, and then it talks about the Mayadim. So from the Hemshech Inyanim in Zoya is Mashma, what you just said, that the Eragonus is Meir, shines in Yom. I'm so anytime you say I'm shachal ma'al mishtashlos, that's shalei b'seder v'adog. It's not gradual. Usually, one of the common examples of shachal ma'al mishtashlos, it's like a miracle. If there's a miracle, things happen which are against the laws of nature. Shemesh begiven daim. Okay, yamsuf. So that means that's a leap. It's not gradual. It's not in a way that the teva, the laws of nature can relate to. It jumps over the laws of nature. So similarly, the concept of the Gilish Amala Mishtashos every Yom Tov is the Chayir above the union of nature of Mishtashos. Merely this deal. You can't marry in here the Pesach is deal. So why do we say that Pesach deal more than the other day? So in order to understand that, we're getting into more detailed discussion the way it is in Avodas Hashem in Avodah. The three state levels in Avodah. Amida al iluch v'diluk. We can stand, we can walk, and we can jump. Amida b'chinas seder v'adroga. Amida, when you stand in one place, that means seder v'adroga. So even if you move, it's still in the same dimensions. It can still be called Amida. It's like a person. I don't know how you can describe it in physical terms, but the concept is that if you're still, even though you're walking, but you're still walking within your own comfort zone, it's still called Amida. You didn't get out of your comfort zone. That's the meaning of Amida. Then there's hiloch, which is hiloch means you walk. Walk means you get out of where you're standing. That's already out of the comfort zone. But diloch or mailam is actually hiloch nikra say the vadogal gabi diloch. So that's really the point he's making here. That in Island, say the vadogal, there are two stages. There's hiloch, there's diloch, walking and jumping. So these represent two ways in Seder Vadog. Biyachas to Hiluch is also called Seder Vadog. Because in the Torah, in the Maimah Yom Vayanas, he brings the pasuk in Hallel. Orim Rog du Ke'elim. Rog means they danced, which dancing is more represents jump. It's like more jumping. It means not just regular walking. In Pasuk says in the after of Aloisa, Tzcharim Nasati Lecha Mahalchim Beina Imdim. That says the Eibishter told, I don't remember the Baba, I don't remember too. It's after of Roni Besimchi. In the after of Aloisa, it's also the after of Hanukkah, I think, because it talks about the Menorah of Zohar. So there it says, I'll give you walking within the standing. So it says in early Meforshim, I think the find that the Megala Amukah is also, that Malach, Oindim Eila means the Malachim, Malachim Nikoim Oindim. The Malachim Bichlal are described, are called Oindim. They stand in one place. Meshakotsuv, that's Mahumas in the Pasuk, Vayamidim La'ad La'olam. Vayamidim La'ad La'olam, the Pashtus in Pasuk, it really talks about the heavenly bodies. But I guess in one of the Perushim is, that means also the Malach. But more specifically, when we say in davening, in the Yetzer Hara, Kulam Oindim Mum Olam, talking about Malach. Kulam Oindim. So we see the Malachim are called Oindim. V'hainu, what is the reason Malachim are called Oindim? Because it says the creation of Malachim, the difference between Malachim and the Shamas is that Shamas all of Machshava, and Malachim nichtisavus amesis at Dibu. Malachim are created from Dibu, from the Madriga of Dibu. Kumeshikoso, the pasuk says, Dvar Vaishmaim Nasa, Ruach Piv called Tzvam. So again, in this pasuk, Tzva Shemaim doesn't mean the stars. It means the Malachim. Tzva is Shemaim, which is the Malachim. And they created Ruach Piv, which is Dibu. So, we learned it also earlier. The Oisias letters themselves, before the letters are turned into words and sentences and essays, so the letters themselves are daimim. Daimim means like they are inanimate. They don't have their own message. They don't have their own life. So relative within the Madrigas Ruchnius, Oisius Adibo, the words are considered daimon. And there's also actually in Torah, today's parsha also talks about it. So the Alter Rebbe says, our Evan means Oisius, because it says in Sefer Yitzirah, Shnei Avonim Boinim Shnei Batim, which means Avonim and Oisius interchange. So that Oisius are daimon. What is daimon? Daimon, something that's inanimate, she'ein b'hem hiluch. Something that's inanimate doesn't walk, doesn't move, doesn't expand. She'ein b'hem hiluch v'yispashtus. So that is the meaning. So b'meile, that is why. Why the word that this describes the meaning when we said malachim l'koyim ha'emdim. The malachim, the take of malachim is some oisius adibu. When we call makoyim, ain't the sha'emdim tamid. But malachim by nature are not creatures that stand in one place. It says in the Nevuos, I think it's shiur, in the Merkavas is shiur, the b'shtayim yichas upon it, b'shtayim yichas ha'raglo, b'shtayim sheish knafayim leichot, that each malach has 6 wings, b'shtayim yichas upon it, b'shtayim yichas ha'raglo, b'shtayim yoifef, it means he flies. Flying is not a midah. Hariyesh b'hem afifa v'hiluch. Now that's supposed to describe what the description in Navi and Malchim and Oimdim and Eifef. Now he's going to describe it more, explain it more conceptually. What does it mean? Ime is the Machnis Michal Ba'ava Machna Gavril Be'ira. So it says in Chazal that each Machna of Malachim has their way of Avodas Hashem. Machna Michal Ba'ava, the Malachim that are connected to Michal, their Avodah is Avos Hashem. Machna Gavril Be'ira, Gavril's Iras Hashem. So each one sticks to their. That's Aimdim. They stick to their level of Avodah, either Ava or Ira. But in Ava, there's a constant ascent. You go higher and higher within Ava, or within Ira. But the ascent itself is within the same dimension, so to speak. So because of that, they're called Oimdim, because it's all Madrega Achas. The person is in the same place, even if he moves, he's moving within his own, like I said before, within his own comfort zone. So it's not called really, it's called standing. He's not really moving. He's just standing within his own natural habitat, as they say. He brings in another concept to explain this Indian that we find in the world of Digduk, in the world of language. When you say something ad, mikan v'ad. So the word ad has 2 meanings. Can have 2 meanings. Can be ad v'ad bichlal. Let's say you say, I'm giving you from 1 ad eser till 10. So can be the ad eser can have 2 meanings. Can be ad bichlal. Ad eser means till 10, including 10. And ad v'loy ad bichlal means until 10, excluding 10. So the word ad can have 2 meanings. Ad v'ad bichlal, v'ad v'loy ad bichlal. So Chassidus explain when it says in the Psukim. The Psukim talk about the concept of ad. where do we find it? I mean, the Mamar Chassidus talk about it in the, remember the pasuk Bitchu ba'Hashem Adei Ad. So what the ad what does ad means? So in Chassidus and that pasuk discusses the two levels of ad. Ad v'ad bichlal u'shamadriga tachtona iberach madriga elyono. אם כן, יש מדרגה תחתונה גם המדרגה העליונה. The concept of ad v'ad bichlal relates to a situation where the lower madrega, in other words, you can go up to a certain point. So when you say ad v'ad bichlal means that point is included, like I said. You can go up to the 10th floor, the 10th step, let's say. So the 10th step is included in the ad. When you say ad the 10th step, the 10th step is included. So when we talk that language, it means that the 10th step is within the reach of the person who starts in the first step. Why? Because that madrega that we call ad until the 10th step is the first step. So really, the lower level contains some part or somehow of the madrega aliyah. B'meile, again, in the world of Ilav Ol, the world with the in a world where the higher and the lower belong to the same dimension, so they really interact, and the lower part of the higher madrega reaches the higher part of the lower madrega. They're really related. So even while he's in the lower step, yes, some type of yachas, some type of error to the Eliyona. So even when he reaches the highest one, which is ad v'ad bichlal, didn't leave his early stages because it was l'chatchila part of the same entity. That's the concept of ad v'ad bichlal. Like I said before, ad v'ad means you say up to step 10. Step 10 is not included because step 10 is in a different dimension, a different flow, in a different realm. So the madrega tachtona doesn't have anything within it that the madrega aliyona has, and the shaloi be'erech. If he does reach the ad v'lo ad bichlal, if he reaches this, like I said, the 10th step, he's already in a different world. So that is, it's interesting, this all arichas. So this is a way I want to describe. We're still in the process. This is describe why it can be ma'oifif, it can be flying and still called oimdim. How is it possible? Because it's all ad bichlal. You fly within your own zone, within your own comfort zone. So that's still considered a mid. B'derech klal, it's more. B'derech klal, we talk about the early key. These two ways of relating to the early key, that's when malakal and b'sev klal. The thing is, malakal and kol madrega tzemberes is in the madrega of Gila early key, which is when malakal, all the levels are in the same error, in the same system. Sev kalam agam sheyesh asfiras de gulim aim shalei be'ezazek meshkos matzamach. Hashem sev kalam is above the system. There is a concept of in the gulim, which is in sev. There's also asfiras, like we learned a little bit in the beginning of the sefer. It's a different level. So all this discussion was just to bring out the point that it can be a licha, which is really amida. But Amida is also Aliyah. Like we said, B'shtayim Yoifet, Malachim are flying. Flying is even more than Hiluch. But Afal Pichen, he says, Sha'aliyah is a madrega, Shemer Zalal Zeh, Nika Zeh Amida. When the Aliyah, when the ascent from one step to the other is Lefi Erech, that's called Amida. It's not called Aliyah. Because even when he moves up, he didn't really leave his lower state. He's just within the lower state is a little step up. The aliyah is gradual. When he steps up from the first step to the second step and even to the 10th step, he didn't really leave his original state. Didn't totally leave it. He just is just a little higher within the same system. What is the meaning of hiluch? Walking. Means when he's it's non-gradual ascent. But he ascends in a state which he separates himself from the earlier state, from the earlier level. Means, so that means he reaches Madrega Sev Kalam, Shamadrega, Madrega Senshalai Badon. So there, Shamalachim Nikoim, going back. Malachim, that's why Malachim are called Emdim, because the Imeyesh Maliyah is a Lakal Prince of Malakalam, Shem Seder Adog. So I said before that that's what it says in Gal Amukas, that's what it says in Sidus, in the Maimorim. Like I said, this is in the Haftarah of Hanukkah. So really the main source up to that discussion is the famous Maimar Hanukkah in Teirah, but he talks about that this whole union of Malachim Bein Ha'imdim, the Neshamas Malachim and Malachim Ha'imdim, because the Shama is, like I said, Malachim created from Isis Dibu, the Shama is created from Isis Machshav. But here he takes, but in our Maimar, he wants to talk about Diluk. So now he's going to discuss how even in Shamas are also not real halicha. In a Yadua, the Neshamas K'mashal Amayla Nikoim Gam Kenaim. The Neshamas in Gan Eden are also called Oimdim. Kumisha Kosov, the famous pasuk that the Chassidus always brings, right? And the Neshama Lamayla is Oived Hashem. Chai Havaya, that says, that is Eliyahu Navi said, Chai Havaya Shamad Telefonov. That Amad Telefonov, I stood before him, when my Neshama was Lamayla, before the Neshama came down to this world. What is it called? Amad Telefonov. It's also called Amida. I know the Neshama is Shasham Gain of Chinas Isis. The Neshama is, they're also from Isis. Now what? El Shem Chinas Isis are Machshav. Kumayim is all Machshav. Sham Gam Kein Gameim Chinas David. So the Neshama is Lamayla. Before the Yer Lamata, they're also called David. They're also Isis.
Olu, it's a printing mistake, probably.
Okay, maybe, but it's not printing. But yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll check it out. Stall all of Machshava. Shegameim Chinas Daim. Okay, and Gam Kein Oimdim B'al Yedei. Now what is the level of Malachim? Al Yedei Yidas Lemata Nas Chinas Malachim. Actually, that's really what it says in the Maimorim of Hanukkah. The Shamas are their own, the Taka higher than Malachim, they're still Oimdim. When they become Malachim, that's to the Yerida Lemata. Or the Tki Matei Mitzvah Lemata. Because of Hayeh, it means arrive from that the Torah creates a licha, because the man anasenu Hayeh Rabbeserotzi Imloi. So the Eivish, I think that's the pasuk in Beshalach. So the Torah is related to as a licha. You're going to walk the path of the Torah. Another pasuk, Ksiv im chokesed telechu. Shal yedei Torah mitzvahs nasim p'nas mahalchim. Torah mitzvahs makes the Eden mahalchim, makes the neshamas mahalchim. Vayinenu. So it goes into another discussion, like so one discussion within the other. Still, it's going to reach all this is explaining the three madregas of Hamida, Halich, and Diluk. So we already have two madregas in Hamida. There's the Hamida of the Malachim, which is Eises Hadibu. There's the Hamida of the Neshama, is the Maila Koidim Eidos Hamad. That's a higher level in Hamida. So it's a Machshava. But Alidei Eidos Hamad, Nasim Klas Ma'alchim. You know, the Ina Masha Yisrael, all of Machshava Ilam Abriya. So it's another interesting point you have to keep in mind. Sometimes in Chassidus and talks all machshava. It said even earlier. Minimal b'nish v'sem shel tzaddikim all machshava in atzmus in Shem HaKol b'atzmus. But sometimes Chassidus uses the expression all of machshava the way it's relates to the Olam Esilyanim in Ishtashlus. Here he says that all machshava Elam Abriya. Machshava is below Atzilus. So machshava dibur ma'isa Abriya yitzir asir. So that Maimon Chazal all machshava, the way he explains it here, means really Olam Abriya. Kanoida machshava dibur ma'isa machshava dem dal and gimel Elam is biya.
I'm sorry, David.
Yeah.
After 120 also it's going to be mehadech, no, because it's going to be going from
to the Yeridah Lemata. That's what it says. To the Yeridah Lemata, then the Shamas get the mile of Mahalach. The male obviously after the Avodah of Lemata, then Tzchar, then the Shamas are in the state of Malach.
No, but because there's no mitzvah, they cannot do anything after 120.
No, but then the Shama acquires the power to the avoid of Torah mitzvahs. That's the name of schar of the Gan Eden. To the avoid of Torah mitzvahs, the neshama acquires that aspect of mahalchim, the union of pligvul, the mailam ishtashlus. When does the neshama actually feel it in Gan Eden? Like you said, lacham eres. So in other words, it doesn't say that the neshama goes back. It says the neshama. The Neshama Lamayla can't do avodah anymore, but the Neshama acquired by the avodah Lamata, the Neshama acquired that quality of Malachim. May 11, the Neshama is able Lamayla. After that, it still keeps that thing of Malachim. Okay.
Because here it's saying that by the Yerida Lamata, because it is done through the Mitzvah. But so you're saying that quality stays with him, because of what he has done here.
Yeah, exactly. It says. What does it say in the Russian? Asher Misha Balakan Talmud Beyade. That when you come Lamaila after the Avodah Lamata, you have Talmud Beyade. You have with you what you acquired. So we acquired the Indian from Malachim. Yeah. So okay. So now he's saying like this. That it's taking us to Tanya. What does it say in Tanya? That you have the koiches and nefesh, ne machshava dibur ma'is. Machshava is below the koiches. Similarly, Maila, the nimshul, machshava in the Olam Esilyanim, Olam Atzilus is like a mashal, like the nimshul of the koiches and nefesh. I think that's the levushim. That's machshava dibur ma'is. Really, he says machshava. He says that is still even the highest madrega. It's higher than ma'is and dibu, but it's still machshava. It's levush. It's ne'elam abriya. Our Torah mitzvahs, our Atzilus are bein earlier we are. Our Torah mitzvahs, Torah savai, mitzvah savai. We do the Shem Havai, but Atzilus does. So Torah mitzvahs, they are part of Atzilus. Right in this Maimar, he uses this the way to describe why Torah mitzvah Atzilus, because Torah is called Torah savai. The man Torah savai v'pich. Mitzvahs are also called mitzvahs savai. So Mamele Shem Havaya in its real, the real Shem Havaya is an Elam Atzilus. V'noida gam kedatzilus muvda b'lachem biyah. So we actually when we talk about Elam Atzilus, it is known that Elam Atzilus is in a different higher, different level than Bia. The Gimel Olam is Bia and Be'er Zel Zeh. Chinat say the Vadrog. The three Olam is Bria Tzira Siya are one lefier the other. Gradual. Aval Hatzilus. Ubein Arech L'Rabbi Bia. Mashak Hatzilus Shalei Be'er. K'mishkot Zema Kamacha B'da V'Hatar M'Siyot M'Smatcha. It's in that mind of Atar Mismatcha, Bashalach, there it talks about more barichas about this, but this is something you learned a lot in various places. That the Atzilus means the spheres that Atzilus means the Eibush sphere, the Eibush Kodesh. We say Chesed Atzilus, Chaz the Shalach Kodesh Baruch. Elam Abriya, that's already creation. So it's really described in a lot of places how Elam Abriya. That's the Nivoim. That's Shalei Be'er. That's Be'er and that's Niv. So Atzilus and Bria, Shalei Be'er Zelazeh. Hashem Zenika Atzilus, Eish. Then it's brings another point here that sometimes the four elements are compared to the four elements. Eish, Ruach, Mayim, Ofo. Atzilus is Eish, fire. With fire, bi'achas to the other three elements of Ruach, Mayim, and Ofo, it's a separate entity. It goes up. So what do we describe here? We describe the same concept we learned earlier that there's an aliyah say the Vadrog. So in the element is biyah, the aliyah from let's say from Asiyah to Yitzir, from Yitzir to Bria. That can be called Amida because it's not real Alich. It's still within the same realm, within the same. But the Shabbos is so mis'aled, they ascend, they go up to the level of Atzilus. So the Chagavi says that the way it is described here, there's a aliyah that he leaves. Aliyah means you leave your state of being and you go up to a higher state. So the Torah mitzvahs, according to this description, means we get out of our own level and we go up. Sometimes it's described differently, that we draw from Atzilus into our world. But it says really, it's not. There's not. Both of them express the connection to something which is above Olamus. But Al Kaponim is the Prinas Ilo Shaliyah Shaloi B'Seidav Vadrog. So that is the Inyan of. That's when the Shamas are called Mahalchim, two Torah mitzvahs. But now he takes us the journey even higher. So at this point, we describe the difference between Amida and Hilur, that Amida is in the Elam Siyah, and Hilur is in Elam Atzilus. Right? So within Atzilus Gufa, he says we can also find a difference. So we all know that Atzilus, the spheres of Atzilus, scientific Kabbalah, I think Pardes, this result, describe how the spheres are made up of two parts, the Eretz and the Kelim. So we actually learned that also, that Shama is Kelim. In Atzilus Gufa, the Sheresh and the Shama is from Kelim, the Atzilus. Because of in the Shama shall start to be Tahiri, the Tahiri of Kelim Kanoida. So there's a difference. It says there's Tara and Gedusha. What is Tara and Gedusha? What does Tara mean? Tara means when the person has to be Mitahir. It means he's in a state it can be defiled, it can be not Tahir, it can be Tomei, and he has to Mitahir himself. So the definition of Tara by definition means that your existence in a state where there is a world of tumah, and then you need tara. Kedusha means you're in a different realm, a different world. That's the describe Different Tara and Kedusha. So according to that understanding, I think the Lashon in the famous Braisa is Tara Mevili the Kedusha. One, Kedusha is a step above Tara. So, and so Chassidus explains also this is the difference between Kalim and Oiris. The Kalim, the Atzilas, are called Tahera, because Kalim is something which it's already defined, tangible. It's a being. It's a something. It has its own objective existence and concept. That's the meaning of Kalim. Let's say Kliya Chesed. So kindness is a certain type of being. So it can be mistaken as something separate, but because it's Kelim Datzios, it's Toher. It cleanses himself from being a separate being. So it's the Eibishter's kindness, but it needs Tahara. Gedusha, Oiros and Gedusha. Oiros means holiness. It's just an expression of the Eibishter. That's Chassidus described in Chassidus, I think, earlier in Kabbalah. The difference in Tahara and Gedusha. So when we say Neshama Shonasati B'Toheri, the Neshama, our Neshama is itself in Atzilas Gof, come from the Kelim, from the Madrig of Kelim, from the lower level. Aval, what does it say? Tero mitzvahs, Mashenka Tero mitzvahs, Misadim of Chinas Kodesh. The Tero mitzvahs will reach the level of Kodesh is above the Tahara. That is the Oiris. Mishayimrim, Asher Kiddushana b'mitzvahs. To the mitzvahs we reach the Kedusha, Kiddushana. Chinas Kedusha shel Ma'ala mitahara. Ma'ayim Chinas Ha'oyer shel Ma'ala me'akei. So that is another kvetch that he added, that within Atzilas Gufa, the mile of Torah mitzvahs over neshamas. Torah neshamas are kelim, and Torah mitzvahs is the oiros.
So that's a difference of Tahara and Kedusha.
What?
So that is because they're from the level of Tahara, not the level of Kelim. That's why it's called Tahara, correct?
Yeah.
No, I missed that point. But the Tahara.
I missed the point. I just explained that Torah, when he says something is Torah, means he exists in a realm where there's possibility. You have to there's possibility of tumah, possibility of being not clean, and you have to. Torah means you have to clean yourself, cleanse yourself. So it means you exist in a separate existence. Kedusha is holiness lachatchila. So that's why Kelim is called Tahara, because it's in a world where there's a possibility of the opposite. Because Kelim is a separate entity, like I said before. Kelim is an independent value. There's Kliya Chesed is kindness. The Kliya Gemara is judgment. Kliya Chachma is wisdom. So these things they could be independent, but the Kelim of Hatzilus are Torah because they're pure from independence. They're all part of the Eibishter's kindness, the Eibishter's wisdom. The right, so it's called Tara. Oira is the Oira Alachatchila, not in the level of Tumah. It's Lachatchila, it's a Gilei Oira Leki, it's a Lekus. So that's why it's called Kedusha. But now he goes further. In the Kelim yesh gimel madregis. In Kelim Gufa, the 3 stages. Ve'ein b'chinas machshavet dibur ma'aseh she'ein b'chinas biyad ha'atzilus. Chub bria she'ba'atzilus. Chagas yitzir nehi asiyah. Now he goes into another point here. That we have that also. That's related to Pesach. Remember, the Rebbe Sagoda says, why is it that we have 3 matzahs and 4 kaises? Because I think that's the way. I think that's what he said there. I'm not sure. I have to look it up. So we have there's the Gimel and Dalet. Kelim, there are 3 madregas, and in Oira there's 4. It's 1 step higher. I'm not actually. I put in maths and cases. Maybe over there it's a different way. All right, we'll revisit tomorrow. Okay, shkoach.
Uh,